Today we are going to learn all about tanking in Final Fantasy XIV in 5 minutes or less.
Are you evil? No? Do you want to
What?
learn how to be? You read the title right. This is a tanking guide. Because tanking is not about fulfilling your roleplay fantasy of protecting the party. It's not even about satisfying your main character syndrome. It's about going fast. So fast that you knock the Earth out of orbit and become the enemy of the entire world. That's right. Tanking is all about the big pulls, baby! Remember, when the Paladin Cat Girl says she can take 20 guys at once, she means it literally. And she achieves it.
No, but it's really like that. You need to know how to do your pulls in MMOs. It's in every single MMO like that. I've been in dungeons with tanks that pulled too much, and I had those that pulled too less. Like, okay, I tell you guys something super funny. This happened to me in Final Fantasy XIV during a random leveling dungeon. I ended up with a tank that always just pulled 2 or 3 mobs. I'm not kidding. This person literally always pulled just 2 or 3 mobs. And there were like groups of 7-8 mobs in a room, and he only pulled always 2. I don't know why. It was funny.
It through sheer force of will, determination, and these goofy little buttons called sprint and defensive cooldowns. You may be thinking to yourself,
manage your cooldowns
surely there's more nuance to this. And there is, but you'd be shocked at how far these 2 things alone can take you. Hell, healers are so used to bad tanks now that they'll fall into uncontrollable lust if you use arm's length. I mean,
no.
Can you imagine? There are people out there who don't use it. This baby can fit so much mitigation inside of it. So yeah, please mitigate damage so you can last longer. You wouldn't want to be a 1-minute man, would you? So go right ahead and pick one. Oh, and just remember that it's better to use 1 or 2 cooldowns.
I think this is actually so embarrassing. If you are on tank, you do a pull, and you don't use any of your skills that actually make you a tank, make you tanky, and then you die even though you get perma-healed, and it's just a small pull. Yeah, you have to read your freaking skills first before you do any job in Final Fantasy XIV, I think so. For me, I've not tanked yet, but this is the next kind of role, like the next role I want to do in Final Fantasy XIV. I've been healing recently, and I'm liking actually healing in Final Fantasy XIV. It's a nice change from DPS to healing so far, so I can imagine that I will also have fun tanking most likely. And yeah, by the way guys, if you are new to this channel and you love MMOs, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content.
At a time. And don't blow your load all at once, okay? We interrupt this broadcast to give you a pop quiz. Here's the million-dollar question. You queue into a dungeon and the DPS is pulling mobs ahead of you. What do you do? If you said you pull, you tank, then for the sake of Thancred's left ass cheek, just go back to DPS roles. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you have to like it when DPS decide to pull ahead of you. But I am telling you that watching a DPS die and grieving the rest of the party by refusing to do your job is not the way. So if you're not ready to ignore the Leroy Jenkins, pop a Viagra, and perform, this might not be the role for you. But hey, that's why I'm here to help. There's a super pro gamer move that lets you avoid this situation entirely. Be faster. Pull before them. Use sprint. This is how you use sprint. Did you see that? Right before you pull the pack, so you get that sweet, juicy, succulent 20-second sprint. Pathetic DPS
That's a nice
have
pull.
no hope of passing you. After all, you control the pace, and the pace is always full fucking throttle.
Wait a second, don't you also have like some gap closers and stuff on some tank jobs? You could also use a gap closer. You go to like one mob, and then you see at the other part of the room another one or a group of them, and then you just gap close them as well. But yeah, sprint, you could also use that.
Baby! So, you're pulling big, you're rotating your cooldowns, and you are using your AoE rotation to maintain aggro for the love of fucking God. That means that by this point, you're already better than 90% of Duty Finder tanks, but there is still an elephant in the room, boss.
Is the number correct?
What about those? Well, don't worry. You see this little guy? You're gonna smack him, turn him around this way, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just don't click.
Exactly, this happened to me in a dungeon I did the other day. I'm like leveling now a black mage because I freaking want to have the black mage also max, because I want to continue MSQ on black mage. I'm not even kidding. This happened to me, was it 2 days ago? Yeah, it was 2 days ago. I was in a freaking dungeon trying to level my black mage, and there was a tank literally. I'm not kidding guys, this really happened to me. He went to the mob like here, I imagine this is the tank, walked to the mob, aggroed it and just stood in front of the mob. And the mob had like a mechanic that shoots some kind of like direction AoE skill, or you guys probably know what I mean with like this kind of cone. And it shoots everyone in the direction where the aggro is. And the tank literally killed one of our group mates almost. Like this person dropped super low health. Because the tank didn't go behind the mob. It just walked to the mob, used aggro and just stayed there. I was like confused. I was about, should I write something, or will I get "you don't pay my sub" response? Like, I don't know. I was like, should I tell this guy he did wrong, or will he be like, "you don't pay my sub"? Like, I didn't know what to do. I also don't want to get freaking banned, because you have to be like super careful in Final Fantasy IV. If you just point out someone is underperforming, it could lead to a ban apparently. Like, I was told that, and I saw this with my own eyes. Like, some person was like criticizing someone's kind of like behavior and way of approaching a dungeon. This person got freaking bent actually, apparently. So I'm careful when it comes to that, but I have experienced this where a freaking tank just walked to the mob, aggroed it, didn't move at all, and the freaking AoE almost killed half the group. So yeah, that sucks.
Alright, you're gonna smack them, turn them around this way.
That's how you do it, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just don't cleave the party. You may be asking yourself, but what about my cooldowns for the bosses? How many should I save for that? And the answer is none. Don't fall for that shit. It's a trap. With large dungeon pulls, which I encourage you to do, mobs are gonna pound you way harder than the boss will. Don't save cooldowns for these wet noodle hits. There is one exception. Sometimes you will see this ominous red symbol on your character, which means you should probably use one cooldown. Yeah. Nice. Now, all that remains is choosing the tank you want to escape the city with. Every tank is similar, but they all have their quirks, so here's a crash course. Paladin, play this if you also like sparkly shit and you're still naive enough to believe
it's
in
nice,
things like
Paladin,
law and order.
yeah.
Warrior, play this if all you care about is being indestructible and you think being a dumbass is a lifestyle choice. Dark Knight, play this if you're compensating for something and your dad is still out looking for milk. And Gunbreaker, yeah.
Wait, can we hear this again? Like, what is the dad doing looking for what? Wait, what?
Style choice. Dark Knight. Play this if you're compensating for something and your dad is still out looking for milk. And Gunbreaker! Yeah, just play this if you're a degenerate and you can't handle peace and quiet. And congratulations! It's time to receive your tanking PhD, which means you're all ready for tanking content. Just don't forget this one
passed the test,
little
right?
thing. Tank stance. Now coming in 4 special little flavors of the exact same thing. These days, if you blink at the enemy, it'll hate you for life. This groundbreaking modern technology is found only in Final Fantasy XIV, where tanks are just more defensive DPS. Join us today for just $12.99 a month. A new superiority complex guaranteed or your money back.
Warning, may cause cope, seed, mold, and gamer-raging behaviors. Please contact your therapist before ordering.
What the heck? But that's true what Lucy Pyre said here with like tank is basically a more aggressive DPS. Because if you look at the rotation, the way you play as a tank, you're like constantly hitting the boss and trying to be as aggressive as you can with a bit less DPS that you do than the DPS. But I actually love how in Final Fantasy XIV every single role is at least 50% DPS or more. Like you have some games where as a healer you are a joke with your DPS, but actually in Final Fantasy XIV, for example, on a healer you do a lot of DPS. Same with on a tank, and that's why you can actually freaking do also MSQ and stuff on a tank or healer. Like I've been doing a large portion of MSQ actually on a healer and I had no problem. I would still 3-4 shot mobs and stuff sometimes. Like I feel like the DPS is pretty nice no matter what role you are. So if you are looking for a game where you can like completely main a tank or a healer and also progress in PvE, like in the quest line, Final Fantasy XIV is the game for you, because it doesn't matter if you're a tank or healer or DPS, you can finish all the content in game. And you don't even need a friend or something like that. There are like some other MMOs, like I give an example in ESO. If you're an ESO on tank and you want to freaking do the quest line, the main quest and stuff, it takes very long time in comparison to a DPS. Because if you barely do DPS and you're like hitting mobs for eternity just to get like 10 kills, kill 10 of this, do this and that, collect this and that, like you're gonna take forever. But in FF14 it's not like that. That's good. And yeah, this was an interesting 5 minutes tank, guys. I feel like, yeah, she really did sum everything up, right? We learned a few new things, and positioning is very important. Like I said, I made this experience where tank just aggroed a mob but didn't move to the opposite direction. So the boss attacked all of us, and one of my teammates almost died because of that. And that happened 2 days ago. This was so funny. It was so weird. Like, I wanted to point it out, but like I said, I don't want to get banned, because if you just criticize someone, it's risky. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. And I'm really curious about the future of FF14. What will come after Endwalker? Like, what will be the next expansion? Will there be any changes done again to like classes and stuff? I'm super curious. But yeah, I wish everyone a wonderful day. I will see you guys next time.